Boom, stop. In episode 72, I answer the question of how serious do you need to be to get your social life handled?
Masculinity for the intelligent man. I'm David Tian, Ph.D., and this is...
Hi, I'm David Tian, Ph.D., and welcome to episode 72 of Man Up. All right, so I'm in Singapore in a classroom, as you can probably tell. I got a question here live from two gentlemen in this room named Leonidas and DiCaprio. How about that? Leonidas and DiCaprio's question pertains to, well, actually, the question is a response to a question I asked. It's about how serious do you have to be in order to become naturally attractive to women. So I think like the result of our training programs or transformation, whether they're online or live in person, is the ability to be yourself and be sexually attractive to the women that you want in your life. Now, this does not mean you attract all women anywhere, anytime, get any girl, anytime. Like that's the promise of PUA bullshit. And they really don't mean they don't mean that. They mean like a certain type of club girl in a certain type of city, blah blah blah, right? Or certain types of cities, certain venues in those types of cities, etc. Mostly club girls, or girls who would happen to be responding to like that type of guy. No, what we're more about is giving you what will make you happy and fulfilled. And getting the wrong type of woman into your life, while that may stroke your ego or get you some validation, is definitely not going to make you happy and fulfilled. So that's the promise though, that the result of our programs is you can just be yourself and live your life full of passion and purpose the way you want to live it, waking up every day excited to live this life, and have women naturally attracted to you. Now, what does it take to get there? And that's the question, partly from what these guys are partly asking. So they're saying on a scale of 1 to 10, my level of seriousness about getting women, this area of women and relationships handled, is 6.5, 7, 7.5, around there. And the question then back to them is, what would it take to be a 9 or a 10 serious in this area of your life in order to get it handled? And the general response, and I hear this quite a bit, is I want to lead, I don't have the time to devote to it. So I said, okay, great, what are you devoting your time to instead? Well, let's just list out what you do with your time. And then I find they suck at using their fucking time. Here's some of the time sinks they put into this motherfucking thing. On a Saturday fucking afternoon or night, surfing the internet, doing useless shit. Here's another thing that they do. They meet their buddies. Guess why you suck with women? Because of your buddies. Yes, you're gonna have to find some new buddies for a little while. This is also true in the rule of 5, right? Also learning about the importance of your peer group. Your reflection, your life, is a direct reflection of your peer group, especially of the expectations of your peer group. Can you change your life? I don't care if you're 9 or 10 serious in getting better with women. If you spend tons of time with the same people, mostly guys, right, that have led you to this point in your life. I'm sorry, those are the facts. And that's why most guys will never change. That's why if you ask the average intelligent human being in this world, is it possible for somebody to learn how to be better with women? The answer will be no, it's not fucking possible. And here's why. Because it's not fucking possible. If you still spend all that time with the same friends that you were spending time with before. Your peer group is you're the result of your peer group. So, I mean, that's just a wake-up call, some guys, right? Let's talk about me, right? Like I can directly tell you from personal experience about my life, about what I had to do to get to this point. And I don't know if you guys, so basically, as a good Christian boy, I understood the importance of personality change. After all, in Christianity, it's about cultivating a certain type of character, a type of godliness that's supposed to make you naturally dwelling in heaven with God. Right now, sometimes if you discover it late, that work will have to happen after life. But the idea was supposed to be that you shape your character so that you naturally become holy and you naturally belong in heaven, like you naturally should be there through the grace of God, right? And this is why you pray every day. This is why you don't pray every day so you can get stuff from God like the health and wealth believers do, right? Like, give me money, God, or I won't love you. No, it's just like you pray to God, to commune to God, because he changes you as a result of it. You read the Bible every day, for half an hour or whatever it is a day, in order to shape who you are, your character. I knew that from a young age. The same principles apply in Confucianism and Taoism, in Buddhism, in all the great wisdom traditions. Shaping who you are. Same in Aristotle. And when it comes to this, I knew the reason why those women were not attracted to me when I was starting out was because of the way I was. Because I was boring, I was logical, I didn't know how to relate to people, I didn't know how to continue conversations, I wasn't sexy, I was scared, I didn't know how to deal with other men, I didn't know how to assert myself, I didn't know how to dress sexy, I was scared of taking risks, I was too scared to even spend the night over at my buddy's house because I didn't have contact lens case, and he was like just laughing at me, and I didn't have a toothbrush. I'm like, dude, do you have a toothbrush? He's like, just come over, man, what's the big deal? There were so many things. I wasn't a leader, I wasn't assertive, I wasn't adventurous, I wasn't easygoing, and I wasn't comfortable with sexuality. I had to develop all of those things. Luckily, I moved every semester to a different country, which meant that I didn't have a consistent peer group throughout that period, except for the guys, my mentors on email and on the internet, right? These guys who I'd met in person for a week or maybe a semester, and then we kept in touch on the internet. And they were my mentors. But every time I went to a new place, I created a new peer group, which was great, because that meant that peer group tracked my progress through this area. Every semester, my peer group improved in terms of its social skills, its social intelligence, its coolness, and then nowadays, in the past few years, it's been improving, especially in moral virtue, in character, in loyalty, in integrity, and things that I came back to, some more moral virtues that I was coming back to. But before, I was just looking for being social, being good with women, and just being cool with women. So that improved at every step. And sometimes I went back to the same country like China, and I picked up where I left off, even though I was away for a semester, because that group was just awesome, and that group continued to grow. So part of the problem is, one, the way you're spending your time. Take a inventory of your time. You have as much time as Elon Musk. Elon Musk owns fucking SpaceX. He's running, what are the other companies? Tesla and that other solar thing. And he's doing it I think it's like middle of the week. He flies from San Francisco down to the Southern California to work on SpaceX and flies back up to work on Tesla. Like, that's his commute. You have as much time as Elon Musk. I mean, that's a great way to shatter your fucking time-limiting beliefs. Bullshit. Now, here's what I gave up. Yes, you do have to give up some shit. Here's what you got to give up. All the stuff that's not serving you. All the stuff that's not helping you is what I want to say, helping. All the stuff that's not serving you. Here's some things that I gave up. I gave up spending major time with minor people. And that meant sometimes these guys, I had to not hang out with them as much because they were bringing me down. Because they said, no, David, you can't do this. They were filling my mind with insecurities of their limiting beliefs. I wanted to go and hang out at some bars and just learn what that's like, because there are a lot of attractive women there that I would like to try to get to know. And I didn't want to go in there with stereotypes and preconceptions because I didn't know those firsthand. I wanted to go see if they're true. And it turned out that in many cases they weren't true. These are interesting people. But I didn't know that back then. I just had my own judgments, right? So I wanted to go see, as a good intellectual researcher, whether that's the case. So, my friends, do they want to go? No, they wanted to sit around and have beers. Beer, and here, numbing my senses with beer. Hey, there's an attractive girl. Yeah, okay, 2 hours later, like, you can go talk to her? That's the norm. And that's why those guys weren't improving. And if I continued to hang out with them, I would not improve. And that's why most adults cannot change. After the age of 21, the general science or the general wisdom is you can't change who you are. You're always going to be that way. You can't change who you are. I, however, I've made a career the past over 10 years. Pass over, that's like a grammatical thing in Singapore. For over the past 10 years, my career has been in the business of changing people's personalities. I went on a Myers-Briggs scale from INTJ to an ENFP. I changed that. That's how you get naturally attractive. You actually change who you are naturally. You prioritize fitness for one, right? Like, some people are going around, they're basically the equivalent of obese people. And like, oh, I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to eat healthy, blah, 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 blah. You have to make it a priority. Now, it could be, okay, so that's one thing. Take an inventory of your time. You have as much time as Elon Musk. What the fuck are you doing with your time? Secondly, there could be that they don't understand how important this area of their life is. If you suck with women, I guarantee you suck with people who are not your friends already. And you know the thing is, it's hard to tell Singaporeans this. Why? Because most of them were born and raised in the same place. They're 30 years old, born and raised in the same place. This is pretty rare from where I come from. Like, most of my friends are in completely different continents from where they were born and raised. It's like I am. I'm living in Asia. I was born in Taiwan. I guess I was born in Taiwan. But I was raised in North America. Raised in Canada, mostly educated in the US. Lived for many years in China. Now I'm Southeast Asia. Spending a lot of time in Thailand, where I don't speak the language very well. So got to work on that. Again, that's totally my excuse, man. I've been saying this. I think I said this in the last video when I was in Bangkok, that I need to spend more time learning language. But I admit, if I prioritized it, that would get done. But what I'm saying is, women in relationships, if you are not good at flirting, at making people laugh, at being able to assert yourself comfortably, you're not going to be very good with negotiation. You're not going to be very good with persuasion. You're not going to be very good at the boardroom. I mean, I tell you, there's so many things that you're not going to be good at. Social intelligence makes it very easy. If you're high in social intelligence, it makes it very easy to translate all of these skills all across the board. Ask any of our alumni or students in our training programs how much the training with Aura Transformation actually helps them in other areas of their lives. In fact, most of our testimonials, most of the reports on our forums, in our Facebook groups, are about how much it helps in all these other areas of their lives, professionally, personally, in addition to just with relationships and with women. And then, most importantly, is a new realization to a lot of guys, is how much it helps in their relationships 2, 3, 4 years into the relationship, how much they're using this, because how much they're using our lessons. Because it's not about the first 4 hours when you first meet a girl. That's easy. We can get that done for you. We can get that done for you very easily. The hard part comes in maintaining control, like keeping the passion going. Not just keeping it, but growing it over time. So, how serious was I? For my work, I was so serious about this that I used my brain as an intellectual challenge to figure out how I could do more on 10 hours a week than all my colleagues do on 50 hours a week. And I did it. And you can too. You can do it. You can do it. Just use your brain. Unless you're in one of those jobs that makes you clock in, you're not on one. If you have to clock in, you should go read Tim Ferriss's book on how to suggest to your boss how to have a location-independent arrangement for our work week. I mean, that's an old book now, like get with the program. Another one is just you can have a side online business. It's like what one of my favorite inspirations likes to say, Gary Vaynerchuk. Even if you really want to do this, if you really want to do your passion, and you have a day job, it's like, I think he says you still have 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. How much do you want this? I made it so that I worked 10 hours a week, sometimes 5 hours a week on my Ph.D. thesis, and I still got the plum job of the year when I went out, NUS, which paid 20% more than any US university, plus on top of that an expat package. Thank you for NUS, they're awesome for that package. I did that, and then what did I do instead? Getting all of that work done, basically I took in a 4-month semester, I did that last month, I just stopped everything in my life and just fucking did my work to catch up. The other 3 months, I went out every fucking night. Well, I went out to meet new women on a Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Then I had dates multiple times in the day when it started. Like I had at 7 o'clock, I had at 9 o'clock, and 11 o'clock lined up, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, right? And then I try to get all these groups out on the Friday, Saturday would be a big group outing, and have all my female friends out with my guy friends, and I'd be getting new leads then and what did all that experience do? It took me from a scared introvert who couldn't begin conversations with strangers, whose heart raced to stop a stranger in the middle of a shopping mall to ask directions. Because even then, I still didn't want to do that. I wanted to go to the directory. I could do this myself. I don't gotta ask nobody. And I was like, shit, I gotta go ask people directions. That's how scared I was. To go from that to someone who you can plop me into any city, give me one night in a club, and I can go and meet three new groups of friends. And for the next night, they all invite me out or whatever they're doing. It's easy for me now. That's how I did it. I dedicated the time to it for a short amount of time. Now here's the thing. What does it take to get a six-pack, to get muscle on your body, guys? What does it take? For a short period of time, you have to shock your body so that it goes, what the fuck? And it starts to build muscle. What does that mean? You actually have to put in that time to shock your body. You can't say, oh, I need to, from the very beginning, do a sustainable program. No, you don't fucking do a sustainable program. You do a program that shocks your body. It's a boot camp. You got to do it intensive style. You got to go in full in on it for a dedicated period of time, whether it's the 3-month program like a P90X kind of thing or whatever, a boot camp. You go and you put in that dedicated amount of time. That's what I did for everything in my life. When I come out of that, then I can take a month off and rest, hit it hard again, or at that point, maybe I'll only go 3 times a week instead of 6, right? Because I've decided whatever my priorities are. But the only way you'll master anything, and here's how learning happens. Nobody learns shit at the beginning. Or because you don't know anything at the beginning, you experience this first learning curve goes, woo, I learned a lot, and then it tapers off. Plateau, boom, most people quit. Dabblers quit. Right? If you want any results in your life, if you want to change your life at all, and this is why most people don't change their lives, because most people don't know how learning happens, and they're lazy as fuck. So there's that, well, then I don't think they're lazy, they're mismotivated. They don't understand the path, and I'm telling you the path so you can be motivated, is they get that first result, and then they have to work, and then so they give up. So instead, you are going to go and you're going to get that first result, and you're going to taper off and have a plateau, and then you're going to dip a bit. But you're going to power through that. And if you have a coach or if you have a program, you know how to power through it, because that program will, if it's a good one, like a P90X, it'll have a rest week, so you have 3 weeks of working real hard, then you have a rest week, that's P90X, and then you come back again with a brand new workout. And then you come back up, all right? So many people think progress looks like this, and when it dips or plateaus, they give up. That's not how it works, it's like this. But each time, eventually, you get to the end of that process, your dips are higher, your lowest dips are higher than your highest highs when you started. That's progress. And that's the training effect. That's how life works. That first dip, to get through that, you gotta go. You gotta go into that. You gotta invest in it for a period of time. And that's how learning happens. To be honest with myself, for me to master Thai, I'm gonna have to take out like a month at least and just do it every day. And then go to an environment where I can't speak English. Right now I live in hotels, so my attempts to speak Thai are civilly met, and then they switch into English because they really want to get it done, right? So it's not, my Thai teacher, which I actually knew this, I lined up like 2 hours a day, an hour and a half a day, while I was there for 3 weeks getting my passport renewed, and then the teacher was like, how come you're not improving? When do you use it? I'm like, she's like, do you only speak Thai when you're with me? I'm like, yeah. Because my life there was like basically go to the gym, hang out, eat in the hotel, and and I'll have Skype clients and meet my friends who all speak English. So obviously I wasn't going to improve because I didn't have the intensive experience. I needed to go to an Thai only experience for a short period, like a relatively short period of time, to blast through that initial dip. Okay, so that's how serious you got to be. For a period of time, you do have to prioritize it for a period of time. And that's the only way that change will happen. It's like when guys want to really get lean or build muscle or change their bodies in a dramatic way, they have to prioritize that. At the beginning, it'll feel like your whole life is about this. Like tracking your macros and hitting the gyms. Like, after a while, it will become second nature, become a habit, become a routine. You start to miss it. And you can scale back a bit because you've already gone through that initial period where the steep learning curve happens. And then you stuck through it and continue to grow. But you can maintain it now because you know you've blasted through that initial period. And that's the most important thing. It's like liftoff velocity. Like an airplane can go. But if it doesn't hit that speed, enough to lift off, it won't go anywhere. Like if it's just staying at 70 miles an hour, or whatever it is, and it needs 80 in order to lift off, and you never hit 80, you just keep starting the plane and going 50 and then stopping, and then trying again, hit 40, 50, and then you just give up completely. This airplane is not going to get up in the air. Well, that's because you didn't hit the liftoff velocity, that critical number. Anyway, so there you go. How serious do you need to be? For a period of time, you got to make it a serious priority. You also have to cut out all the things that don't help you. All right, so there you go. And join the private Facebook group. Click the link below, join the group. We approve requests regularly. That's also where you can ask your questions. And until next time, man up.